following podcast is scheduled for one fall. Coming down the aisle, Matt, Dave, the Superplex Brothers!
Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th edition of the Superplex Brothers podcast live. Of course, as always, it is the Superplex Brothers hosting this show. I am Matt. Joined with me is Dave. We've actually got a pretty small lineup for you guys today. Not too much going on in gaming or wrestling, but unless you've been living under a rock for the past 3 or 4 days, then you might know that the Super Bowl happened on Sunday, so we'll be talking about that a little later on in the show. Also, over the weekend, Dragonball Super began the highly anticipated Universal Survival Arc. We have YouTube updates to talk about. We have the official details on our February giveaway. And finally, the International Pokemon Association is preparing for their draft this Sunday. We're going to talk about the Pokemon that you guys should be on the lookout for to draft in each tier. And that's probably going to be the biggest part of the show, over the Super Bowl even. But we're actually going to start off with YouTube updates. So, Dave, take it away.
Alright, so as you guys may have noticed if you've been following my channel, I just recently finished my Pokemon Crystal Nuzlocke, which I think went pretty well outside of the abuse and, honestly, the complete decimation of the speed-up button. But, oh god.
Yeah, it's one of those things that, like, as a person recording it, you might not notice it until someone points it out.
I honestly didn't notice at the time when I was recording it how badly I abused it. But not only after people pointed it out to me, but after watching it back myself, yeah, I was pretty abusive to that damn thing. But anyway, that aside, that's over, so it's time to move on to my next project, which, as I mentioned previously, I'm going to be doing a challenge run in Super Mario Bros. 3. Which I'm going to start recording that today after this show. And I'm looking forward to that because I've played the game for years. It's my favorite game of all time. And I'd like to try it out in a different way than usual. So that could be either, end up going really smoothly, or it could be a huge disaster. Who knows? We're going to find out when it's released. Next thing I want to talk about for my YouTube channel is I talked about this with Matt. And it's something I thought about for a while. But I think I'm actually going to go through with it. Of having a weekly series where every Monday I will be playing through the Mortal Kombat games. Not all of them, but the first 3. Well, kind of. Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat 2, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which is kind of like the definitive version of Mortal Kombat 3. So I'm going to go through, the game each week with every character until I get through the game and then move on to the next game. And I think it's going to be a pretty cool idea. I'm calling it Mortal Kombat Mondays, and that should be coming out hopefully soon. I got to just get everything set up so I can start recording it. I'm going to be doing the arcade versions. So I'm not going to be doing like the Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis versions or anything like that. It's going to be the arcade versions so that it's faithful to the originals. With that said, outside of that, of course, as you know on YouTube, Matt and I have Soul Link coming soonish. We're just getting that under wraps and doing all that. And then from there, it's pretty much whatever. So Matt, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm still sitting on an entire playthrough of Telltale's Batman that I just simply, YouTube's uploader and my internet have not been getting along very well recently. Last week I hosted a live stream of Super Bowl Sim, and I recorded that on its own because the stream was kind of choppy. Basically, YouTube and my internet just have not been getting along in general these past couple weeks after getting along great for a while, but who knows what the fuck's going on there. So I'm still sitting on that playthrough. I've also started recording Resident Evil 7 as I've live streamed that as well. So the Super Bowl Sim, the Punk Bowl, the Super Bowl's over. I don't know if it's worth getting up, but I guess at some stage I have to just upload it real quick and just make a note saying I've tried to upload this so many times because I have to go to somebody else's house to upload that.
Yeah, I would say definitely do that.
So the likelihood of what's going to actually be uploaded next will be the Batman playthrough will resume. I just have to make some thumbnails for that. They're pretty much ready to go. Once Batman completes, we'll have Resident Evil 7 going up alongside Soul Link. And that's pretty much as far as I know what I'm doing for my YouTube channel. Not too crazy, and of course we'll be hosting the podcast every week or 2 weeks or whatever on here. But, you know, at the minute, school's kind of taking priority once more, but there's only 3 months left of that, so my schedule will free up significantly to do YouTube stuff and projects once school's wrapped up. With that being said, I think that's about it for YouTube updates. Let's go ahead and move on to our next topic, which is going to be the February giveaway. So we mentioned this last week, but obviously the Starbound giveaway is currently over. However, we should note that the winner who we announced live last week, Jonathan, has not claimed his prize. Jonathan, if you listen to this show on SoundCloud, because I know you're following us on SoundCloud if you're not a bot anyway, you have until this coming Friday to claim your prize. Otherwise, on the next show, we will redraw. Now, as for this month's giveaway, as we mentioned before, the prize is a IPA logo t-shirt. And this giveaway ends on February 28th. So, as usual, it goes from the first of the month to the end of the month. And there's a few different ways to win this time that I think, you know, make this more of an interesting and more exciting giveaway. All right, so there's 21 days left as of this recording. There are 4 ways to enter. 5 entries for following us on SoundCloud. That's crazy. It's only 3 last time. Subscribing to my channel. Subscribing to Dave's YouTube channel. That's 3 entries a pop. And then finally, the newest way to enter, you can tweet out on Twitter once per day a tweet that I wrote up, and you will get 1 entry for every tweet you make. Once 1 a day. So that's 28 entries right there from Twitter alone.
Nuts.
So make sure you guys enter that giveaway. You'll get your choice of size and color. And yeah, it's pretty exciting. Support the IPA, folks. We're telling you, we're going to try our hardest to make it a big deal. And Dave clearly has nothing to say on that.
You pretty much covered it. It's, you know, they're cool shirts. I ordered one. I love it. They're very comfortable. They're easy to wear. We get these off of TeePublic, who have been really good to us. You know, we had the Superplex Brothers shirt up there. Now we have the IPA shirt up there. And honestly, they're really good shirts. They wash great. You know, they don't fade too quickly or anything like that. And again, you can get it in any size and color you want. And just enter. There's so many ways to enter. So, I mean, you may as well. It's free stuff. I can't stress that enough. It's free stuff. You can't argue with free. So,
no, it's the best.
It is
price.
The best price. So, I think if you aren't entering, you know, daily on Twitter, you're missing out on a chance to win these cool shirts. We had the logo custom made. It looks dope as fuck, by the way. And, I mean, it's just an awesome shirt. I definitely suggest trying to enter to win one.
Yep, and with that, we'll move on to our next topic, which will be Dragon Ball Super Episode 77, aired on Saturday night. And it is officially the beginning of the Universal Survival Arc. And first off, we got a new opening. After 77 episodes, we got a brand new from-scratch opening. And, man, it's really going to get you pumped up for this
Yeah,
arc.
it is. While I did like the original opening, at least the song was pretty catchy, this new opening is like the total package in how you hype up a show. The animation is great. You see a lot of, essentially like teasers for what's coming up, and including some really dope-ass scenes. And it's such a good opening to get you hyped up for the arc.
Yeah, and of course, there's one thing from the opening that everyone and their mother is talking about. Does Goku get a new transformation in this arc? We see him fighting this really buff-looking alien thing, and apparently it's strong enough to use Super Saiyan Blue against. But then Goku screams out, is enveloped in a red ki that's akin to the Kaioken, but it looked really different.
Yeah, it almost...
I'm not sure if it's a perfected Kaioken form, like a Kaioken God form, or what. I'm just not sure.
It could be anything. I mean, maybe this is like the Super Saiyan 2 equivalent of Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan.
Right. That's one thing that I thought was going to happen to begin with. We never talked about this on the podcast. We talked about it like separately. Is that Super Saiyan Blue only uses base Super Saiyan.
And there's no reason to assume that just because Super Saiyan Blue is blue means that the next stage up had to be blue as well.
Right, but then the problem lies in that the original Super Saiyan God is red already. So if he's enveloped in a dark red ki, it definitely heavily leaned towards a perfected Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Because in the Universal 6 vs. 7 tournament arc, I refuse to call that the Champa arc, because he did fucking nothing in that arc. When Goku used it, he said this is imperfected, and we saw what it did to his body. And it would make sense for Goku to want to perfect that technique for this huge tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the most sense. It makes the most sense.
Some people think it could be a version of Super Saiyan Rose.
That actually is a possibility.
Because Super Saiyan Rose was shown to be significantly stronger than Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah, it very well could be.
Until they became Vegito.
Yeah.
Anyway. That's
definitely a possibility.
So... only time will tell. This arc is definitely going to be a long one, though. You can tell that, of course, because it got its own opening. Fun fact, no arc in Dragon Ball history, not including Kai, because that's just basically a remake, has an opening dedicated to an arc.
That's true.
Even like the second opening is still vague in the events that happen in it.
Yeah, I mean...
At
most, the song never changed, but they would just change the clips to make it more appropriate with the current arc, and that was only really for the Goku Black arc.
No, they did it for all of them.
Yeah, they did, but not as much as they did it with the Goku Black arc.
No, there was more bits in the Goku Black arc, but every arc the opening did change. I mean, for Dragon Ball Z as well.
True. I was thinking more of Super than.
No, I just said in all Dragon Ball. So the actual episode itself was pure setup, but like, I want to talk about a couple scenes that really stood out to me. One in particular was when Goku was talking to Vegeta, because Bulma's pregnant, you guys. We're actually accelerating towards the end of the Dragon Ball Z.
Yep.
Because Bulma's pregnant with Bra, or Ball, however you pronounce her name, depending on what translation you consider canon. And she was about 3 or 4 years old in the tournament where Oob shows up.
Yeah.
So... and we're at a stage where they're addressing how, like, Goten and Trunks are starting to, like, mentally mature. Now, they haven't physically started to grow, which I think that's gotta happen probably at some stage in this arc.
I think it's kind of weird that, like, Goten and Trunks are about 11 now, right?
They're about 14.
They're 14?
Yes.
Holy shit! They look 8!
I read that on the Reddit, at least, anyway, that... But if you go by it, because Bra was born in age 780, that Goten and Trunks are 14 at the time.
That's fucking weird. I was gonna say, because going back to the Cell arc in Dragon Ball Z, I know the hyperbolic time chamber was a thing, but when Gohan was 11, he was much taller and much more grown looking.
I think it's just the art direction of Super just simply won't allow them to grow up. Because they'd have to like redesign them, because there's no design for them in between the little forms they were in the Buu saga and the end of Z.
Well, I mean, they kind of had one for Trunks if you go with the history of Trunks. They at least have something for Trunks, not Goten.
Yeah.
But
during that scene with Vegeta, like Goku's like, "Hey, come train with me at Whis' place," and Vegeta refuses because he wants to be there for his wife. And that stood out to me because it's like, holy fuck, they have done Vegeta's character development so right in Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, I mean, he's at this point, I would say he is like the most genuinely good guy in the show at this point. I mean, Goku is like innocent and naive and stupid, but Vegeta, he cares for his family. He tries to be a good father to his son. You know, he tries to do what's right. And he definitely had the most character development. I honestly think, I mean, outside of maybe Gohan and Z, and maybe Piccolo in the early part of Z, Vegeta has by far had the most character development out of any character.
Yeah, it's almost to the point where it's like you can tell who Toriyama's favorite fucking character is.
Even though he makes him lose all the time. But
he has him give the most character. And he only loses because Goku's the main character.
Yeah, I mean, in a way, it works for the good and for the bad of the series. Because it's like, on the one hand, yeah, character development is great. You know, it gives you a reason to care about the character. But yet, when you have this one character get all the character development and they constantly lose, while his other character has not really changed since Dragon Ball, then, you know, and yet he wins all the time, except for a couple of rare instances. He wins almost all the time. So it's like, why should I care as much?
Right. But yeah, so, and in that scene, though, Goku's kind of like, who cares, you know? I was dead when Goten was born. And I'm just like, Goku! Look at you, flaunting off your bad dad skills. I was dead when my second son was born. But Moscow X, who's well known as the voice of Goku in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, if you go to his channel, he has an amazing video where he talks about how, like, he analyzes how Saiyans act based on, like, the data that was given to them by Toriyama and, like, small throwaway guidebooks and stuff throughout Dragon Ball's history. And what it comes down to is that, like, most regular Saiyans don't give a fuck about family, and that, like, they consider everyone kind of like their allies. Even like, they wouldn't have, like, a emotional bond with their wives or children. They would just say, oh, you know, you're my friends. You're my allies in combat, kind of thing. Except for the royal family.
Yeah.
Which obviously care about leading the race and having, you know, carefully choosing out their wives and forming a bond with their successor to make sure they can lead the planet going forward. And you see that here, Goku doesn't give a fuck about his family, while Vegeta is the exact opposite.
Yeah, I mean, of course, for the Prince of Sage, you got to worry about the lineage, you know? So, of course, it makes sense, especially when you look at all the stuff that Toriyama has left, you know, hints for us in books and all that shit. And again, the Masako X just has generally great channel. I mean, honestly, definitely go subscribe because his commentary on Dragon Ball, I would say it's one of the best channels for that. Because he generally...
Yeah, I would consider him like one of the elite Dragon Ball opinions out there on the internet right now. And it's because he's been so, like, embedded into the fandom now. For me, Dragon Ball Z Abridged has been going on for upwards of 8 years.
Yeah. That's nuts. I mean, but again, just going back to talking about his channel for a minute, because he does a lot of research, and he definitely, his opinions are not just pulled directly out of his ass. He tries to back them up as best as possible. Obviously, you know, you can only go by so much. But anyway, as far as the Vegeta thing goes, yeah, it makes sense because, again, he's the Prince of Saiyans. He is the royalty of the bloodline of the Saiyan race, and he has to worry about his lineage. Whereas Goku is just, I mean, even if Goku never forgot about his, you know, Saiyan stuff because of the injury to his head, he still probably would have been like that, just because that's how Saiyans generally are.
Yeah. So the other scene that really stood out to me was basically when Goku was on Beerus and Whis' planet, and he was first talking about, hey, you know what? I want to do that Universal tournament that Zenshan mentioned before. And Beerus basically says, listen, stay the fuck away from him, because he is the real threat. Zeno-sama is the real threat, because he's so innocent and naive, but he holds the power to wipe away realities, right? And it was the point where Beerus took the stance of, if Goku pushed that button in front of him, he would have used Hakai and destroyed him.
I loved that scene.
And it was so tense. But Goku, I felt, was playing the role of the villain.
Goku was so fucking defiant. I loved it. I loved that whole scene, because Beerus was finally getting serious, and it was just like, oh shit, something might go down. And
it was even to the point where Beerus says, you know what, maybe I really have been too lenient on you.
Yeah, which it was great. And props to the voice actress who played Goku, man, because she freaking put on that menacing, like, almost Goku Black voice, and it was fucking awesome.
Yeah, Masako Nozawa is probably the greatest of all time.
I fucking love that scene. Honestly, it might be one of my favorite scenes in all of Dragon Ball Super, because even though it wasn't, like, action-packed, it was so tense, it felt like, oh shit, Goku might actually be fucking up for good this time.
Yeah. And considering you know how the tournament's going to work, yeah. I'd say he did, honestly. I'd say they'll be easy to give us a villain character probably fairly quickly into the tournament.
Yeah, most likely.
Probably, especially that guy that have Goku fighting throughout the opening. But to me, right, I really feel as if Goku's the villain here.
Yeah, he really is, because he instigates all of this, and he's willing to put willing to put everything on the line, including, not only the people he loves, but even just everyone in all of the multiverse. He's willing to put everybody's lives on the line just because he wants to have a good fight.
Yeah. And I feel as if they've really been exposing that part of Goku's character, and I think they're straight up going to call out how flawed it is.
They have to. I feel like at this point, when you've laid the consequences out that much, to just say, oh, well, everything turned out fine and no lesson was learned, that would be the biggest fuck up in this entire series.
Yeah, it would. But we also got teases of the team, which you know the team already. They announced the team for Universe 7.
Yeah.
But I'd say the next couple weeks, it's probably going to be more build-up, because this is an arc you can't just jump into. It's got to be built up properly.
I think there's probably going to be an episode dedicated to each entrant.
I probably won't say that far. They'll get some of them pretty quickly. Like, he'll get Tien pretty easy. He'll get Gohan with reluctance, but if you get Gohan, you get Piccolo.
Well, you probably could get Piccolo before you get Gohan, honestly.
Yeah. Especially because, Piccolo participated in the last...
We're definitely getting an episode dedicated to 17. We have to, because they have to explain, one, where he's been this whole time. And
well, we know where he's been.
We know where he's been in terms of the fans, but they don't know where he's been. They got to explain that to them. You know what I mean? They got to explain how they find him, for one. I was going to say, unless 18 knew the whole time, which is possible.
It makes sense. They're twins. They're still siblings.
But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the character development that we're going to get for a lot of these characters. I'm looking forward to just the build-up towards the fight. I'm looking forward to meeting all the new characters. Especially some of the Gods of Destruction look dope as shit. And just the general... I just want to know more about... This is one of those arcs that really makes you want to learn more about the general world of Dragon Ball. all the universes. You want to know more about where these people come from, what their lives are like. The build up to all this is going to be good. And then at the end, you get the cherry on top with the fighting.
Right. But hey, that's pretty much all we can say for this episode for now. There's not much else to go off of, but of course, we probably won't talk about Super every week unless this arc ends up being that good. Only time will tell on that front. So, next thing we're going to talk about here is going to be the IPA draft / VGC tournament. There's not much to mention on the tournament front. Basically, we're doing a off-season VGC tournament just to kind of introduce people to that format, because I feel as if, a big part of our league is teaching people how to battle competitively, proper. And so learning VGC, while they may be reluctant to do so, I do believe it to be a crucial part of learning how competitive Pokemon works, because that is the official format for set by the Pokemon Company.
Yeah, I mean, I got to admit, it's been difficult for me to really learn everything. I've been having a lot of trouble building a team. I finally am starting to get some things together, so hopefully pretty soon I'll get to have my match and unveil my team. And honestly, though, while VGC is a very important part of competitive, because obviously it's the official format, there are some noticeable differences between that and the regular draft play that we do that a lot of people going from one to the other are going to have a hard time getting over, because there are certain things allowed in VGC that aren't allowed in regular draft format. And also just the fact that it's doubles and the other is singles. But I've been having a lot of fun trying to learn it, though. Even though I'm having a hard time, I definitely want to learn it, and even after the tournament, I'll probably still play it.
Yeah, I think it's a very fun. Format,
it's fun,
honestly,
but difficult. It's like a challenge.
I mean, I don't know. That's because you don't like doubles, though. I kind of eased into it.
Yeah, well,
I didn't find it very difficult at all.
Fair enough.
All you have to do, really, I think, is it's what I did, is I watched a couple tournaments on YouTube, and, you learn the hard hitters that are common. You learn about the more gimmicky teams that you can kind of sneak in there. And from there, it's just executing an actual gameplay itself.
Yeah. Again, I'm getting there. It's just going to take some more practice and finagling. So...
Right, but the important thing to talk about is this weekend we will have the IPA draft, and we might be live streaming the IPA draft. I haven't officially decided that or not, but that would be kind of wild.
Yeah, that would be wild. We'd have to, I don't know how you plan on going about streaming it, since I haven't heard anything about this until just now, but setting that up, unless you're just doing it by yourself, would be interesting, to say the least.
I'll probably try and get some guests on. Especially some of the team captains.
Yeah.
But before we talk about anything crazy like that, that'll be in the future. That will be announced on YouTube and the IPA Facebook page. So make sure you keep an eye out on that. I'm going to give you guys 3 Pokemon from every tier, and this will be quicker than you think. 3 Pokemon from every tier that I believe should be high on your draft boards. Because I've seen them in action. I've seen what they can do. A lot of these won't surprise any of you, but some of them might. So we're going to go through, starting with OU. I'm going to name 3. Dave, if you want to name 3, you can. Or if you agree or disagree with any of my choices, you can. Feel free to chime in at any point. So starting with OU, a Pokemon that I believe should be on everyone's draft board is, of course, Greninja. Whether it's Greninja or Ash Greninja, if you get one, you get both. Both these Pokemon should be Ubers. They'd be Ubers in X and Y and ORAS formats. But here, there's enough checks and balances to keep them into OU, at least for the moment. But simply, the fact that, you have access to Protean, you have access to Battle Bond, and the up stats that come with Ash Greninja, which is essentially a free Mega. It's alternate form, but it's basically a Mega evolution.
Yeah, Greninja is a great Pokemon, and... honestly, the only reason I haven't had it on my draft board is because I know I'm not getting it. So, I don't even...
Right. I do believe it to be a top 5 pick. I don't see it making past the top 5. If it does, then whoever is looking down there below the top 5 is definitely out for a steal. But again, I don't see it happening.
I have my picks that I want from OU, and I'm not going to reveal them because I don't want any dirty, sneaky bastards trying to steal my picks. So I'm going to leave my secrets to me, but, I definitely...
I didn't say reveal your draft board. I simply said agree or disagree.
But I agree with Ash Greninja, or just Greninja in general. Again, Protean is a great ability. The only other Pokemon that gets it is... fucking the fucking chameleon Pokemon from Gen 3. Kecleon, that one. He's the only other Pokemon that gets it. And honestly, in the lower tiers, who knows? But we're not talking about them yet. But Greninja...
No. So another...
I was going to say, but Greninja is definitely a great pick.
Yeah. So next up, a Pokemon that I believe, and with the draft boards I've seen so far, is on no one's radar. Alolan Marowak, right? It's OU for a reason, you guys. I know you may look at stats and kind of go, ooh, but it can work. Alolan Marowak, typing and lightning rod ability, coupled with actual decent bulk, make it huge checks to notable threats such as Tapu Koko and Pheromosa. It can have utility moves with Will-O-Wisp and Stealth Rock. Now, it is worn down relatively easily, but... it's a great utility mon. It's got bulk. You can stop lightning type attacks. You can stop, of course, you can wall Tapu Koko and Pheromosa. That's Pheromosa in particular is something notable. Now, of course, only one person will get these Pokemon each, but of course, there's like, it's got Shadow Bone, Fire Punch. It's got decent moves to back up its typing. So I think it's a Pokemon that's under the radar. But guys, it's still OU. It's lasted OU since the start of the meta. There's a reason.
Does it still get access to the ground type moves that regular Cubone would have access to? I mean, most notably Earthquake. That's the only one that I really care about.
It does have access to Earthquake.
Well, I say this because even though Alolan Marowak is not necessarily on my draft board, although who knows, it's definitely an option, but it has the lightning rod ability, making it immune to electric attacks. It has immunity to normal types. It has immunity to fighting types. It's a fire type, so it resists steel, it resists fairy, it resists bug, it resists all kinds of typings. And it's just a generally good type defensively. It's bulky. I mean, the only thing that's really a threat to this is like water, grass, rock, and dark.
No, not grass.
No, not grass. Water.
You're looking at dark, ghost, ground, rock, and water, which fairly common typing.
Yeah, I think I meant ground. I don't know. I'm out there, but it's got a lot of resistances, and while it does have some weaknesses, again, that bulk helps. Having access to Will-O-Wisp is great because obviously, if you're going up against physical attackers, you can them. So it's generally it's a good idea to have, even if you don't necessarily use it all the time. It's a good idea to have. Plus access to Stealth Rocks. I mean, come on.
And Will-O-Wisp on the same mod.
That is just great utility.
So the third and final Pokemon from OU that I'm going to talk about that should be on your radars in case it's not already is Mamoswine, a former proud member of the West Haven Weezings who is bumped up to OU in this format. Dave, you know what? I'm going to leave Mamoswine talk to you because while I recommend it, since you used it, you can talk about it a lot.
Honestly, I was surprised to see it bumped up to OU, and I honestly, here's the thing: is there anything new that it got to warrant that?
I don't think so. I think it's just because of the way the meta is. Slower Pokemon are more prominent now.
I say that because Mamoswine is great. It's a hard hitter. It has access to Ice Priority and Ice Shard. But it's not the most bulky Pokemon in the world. So you have to be careful with it. My personal recommendation, if you're going to go with Mamoswine, because trust me, the Blizzard of Oz put in the finest of work for the West Haven Weezings. If you're going to go with it, I definitely recommend putting a Focus Sash on it. You want to be able to live more than one hit. Obviously, it has access to thick fat, so fire-type moves are not going to be as effective as they would be normally. And obviously, it's just going to make it even more resistant to ice types. It is a good Pokemon. It is a very, very good Pokemon. You have to be careful with it, though. But in the right hands, it can be absolutely devastating, especially with so many dragon flying types like freaking Dragonite that you got that Salamence. Dragon Ground like Garchomp. These Pokemon will fear Mamoswine. And in the right hands, this thing will destroy a lot of teams. I've swept teams with Mamoswine. Yeah, swept. Yeah. But I've destroyed people with Mamoswine. So I definitely recommend going for it. If it's not on your draft boards, it should be.
All right, so now we're going to move into U, which it's a very interesting tier this time around. There are some Pokemon here that I am honestly baffled by. I am baffled that they are here. And I'm going to call them out for being here. Alright? So, number 1. Fucking Necrozoma. Or is that Necrozoma? How the fuck you actually pronounce that thing? I don't know. That thing is UU!
Why?
Because usage!
I know that, but I mean, like, why is it so not used? Obviously, there has to be something to it if it's not used all that much.
I don't know, but what the fuck? I actually did not know it was here until just now.
Jesus.
Let's talk about this thing's stats real quick. Alright, here we go. HP, 97. Attack, 107. Defense, 101. Special attack, 127. Special defense, 89. Speed, 79.
That's pretty powerful. That is pretty powerful.
That's nuts. And access to Calm Mind. And Iron Defense. And Stored Power.
Why the fuck is it UU? I mean...
Morning Sun? It has recovery?
I think I know what changes I gotta make.
Holy shit! Wow. Wow! Alright, so that just kind of blew me away. I did not know that thing was here. That thing, it's going to like the first 2-3 picks. No one's going to let that sit there. You'd be a fool to let that sit there. Even if you don't need psychic typing, you snipe that from anybody else getting it.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. The next recommended one, of course, no one's going to be too surprised by this, but you got to mention that Clefable is now UU.
Which I think is weird because in Gen 6 it was the best fairy type. At least in OU.
Yeah, but I think the Tapu's just kind of bumped it down enough.
I mean, honestly, the way I see it, Clefable is still incredibly good. I still think it might be too good for UU. Even though the Tapu's just bumped it down in terms of usage, it has Unaware, it has Magic Guard. It's just so goddamn good. I used Clefable in the very first season of the Superplex Pokemon League. And it put in the finest of work. And, of course, Ben used it in the last season. It was a threat to everybody. Clefable is just a Pokemon that, throughout the years, was very much underlooked, and then suddenly, once it got that fairy typing, it became a monster.
Right. So now, the last... I actually have to mention a couple of these Pokemon in UU, besides the next one. Volcanion is now in UU.
I'm going to say this.
Thundurus is UU.
Really?
Yes. Togekiss is UU.
Huh.
Gengar is UU.
That one doesn't surprise me as much.
Well, yeah, because it lost Levitate. Yeah. But still. Azumarill, UU.
That's nuts.
UU's going to be a huge round.
Yeah, UU has a lot of the heavy hitters from last generation's OU. So, yeah. That's going to be the big one. Honestly, though, I'm surprised by Thundurus making it down to UU.
Yeah, and Zapdos is still OU.
which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that I want it. But anyway, as far as Volcanion going down to UU, that one doesn't surprise me as much. Does not surprise me.
Do you think he just simply got exposed and he was only OU because he came out so late?
Yeah, unfortunately, while I liked Volcanion, he did not put in as much work for me as he really should have. The truth is, in fact, I would even say it cost me a couple games because his move pool is not great, and while his stats are great, once you can wear it down and then take it out fairly easily. It does not like ground types. It does not like electric types. And even though it's neutral to grass, a good solar beam, especially, if it can fire off easily, like in the sun, not doing it any favors.
Yeah. The East Coast Eevees actually had drafted it in the original draft for the IPA, and honestly, I could see it going third round if anyone picks it up this time.
Yeah, I liked having it, but I definitely wouldn't want it as an OU pick. I think UU is a pretty good home for it.
Yeah. So, yeah, UU is stacked, right? We're just, oh man, all these Pokemon in UU. Well, let's talk about RU, okay? Because RU is UU on crack. There are so many good Mons, so many UU Mons that fell down to RU. So let's start talking about a couple of them. Honchkrow.
I loved Honchkrow when I had him in the final season of the Superplex Pokemon League. When I got him in RU that time, that was a fucking steal. And it was funny, too, because he just went down to RU at the time and was immediately bumped back up because he was just too goddamn good. Honchkrow is a great fucking Pokemon if you know what you're doing with it. And the cool thing about Honchkrow is, yeah, even though the physical set is the common set, it's actually not a terrible special attacker. Especially with Super Luck as an ability, you can get Heat Wave on it. You can get you can put a Scope Lens on it and just boost that critical attack even more. If you know what you're doing, it can work. So,
yeah. Let's see who else is falling down here. Tornadus is currently RU.
Is that regular Tornadus or? Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say because Therian, I remember, was still pretty damn good.
Let's see what else do we have down here. Of course, Talonflame dropped because Gelwings got nerfed. Slowbro's fallen down here. Wasn't Slurpuff UU last year?
Slowbro? Oh, Slurpuff. Yeah, Slurpuff was UU. Slurpuff was UU because of the belly drum set.
Well, it's RU now. Sableye down here. Uniclus is down here. Machamp's down here.
Jesus.
Alolan Golem, who's actually decent, is down here. Gardevoir's down here. Galvantula, Gallade, Feraligatr, Espeon, Entei, Electros, Drapion, Donphan, Darmanitan, Cresselia, Cloyster. There's no end to the good Pokemon that are.
Yeah, I am looking forward to writing out my RU section because there's a lot of Pokemon there that I fucking want. Hopefully I get them, unlike last draft, where my RU was completely and utterly dominated and humiliated, and I was left nothing more than a shell of a man with nothing left to live for. But,
right.
But yeah.
As you do.
As I normally do. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The thing about the draft is, yes, it's a heart attack waiting to happen just in case somebody steals your goddamn snipes or snipes your goddamn list. But it's always fun, and seeing all of these Pokemon in UU and RU that are just monsters, I'm looking forward to it. And yeah.
So then we're going to go down to PU's next, right? NU's next. Okay. NU's next. So NU, mostly unchanged. I want to say.
My boy still in NU? Yeah.
Wheezing?
Okay, good.
Is. So was Reggie Rock.
Although I gotta say, that I might not go for Reggie depending on some events that might happen.
Right. So in terms of Pokemon that are stand out in NU, obviously they're all NU, so they only stand out so much. They're all kind of, gimmicky minds, whatnot. There's nothing. I don't think there's anything spectacular in here. Even Weezing. Weezing. People have exposed Weezing over the course of the last few seasons. You can't even deny that. You just want it because it's your mascot. And it's a Pokemon you don't want to get stuck in. Like, if you're down to your last Pokemon, or last two, and they're both physical attackers, and you're staring at Weezing in the face, then yeah, you're fucked. But
okay, then.
Well, be honest now. It's still NU for a reason.
Okay. Sure. Let's go with it.
Wow, you're just not impressed with my...
more like emotionally devastated.
Well, other Pokemon that stand out down here, Electivire, Claydol, and Gastrodon stand out to me as the three you really want to be looking for. Pokemon that if you need to fill in these roles, Golurk is down here, Ludicolo is down here, Malamar is down here, Miltank's down here if you don't get a Snorlax and you're looking for a wall of sorts. Skuntank's down here if you want to be a dick and get some aftermath off. Steelix is here for a supreme physical wall, and that can set up rocks.
Is Torkoal in there, or is he further down?
Where is Torkoal? Actually, he's not in. He's not in.
He might be RU then, because he got that boost from Drought. And he's very bulky. He's incredibly bulky. Yeah, I was gonna say he has access to Will-O-Wisp. He has access to rocks. You can make him a special attacker. He has access to Shell Smash. Yeah,
that's nuts.
Torkoal got a huge fucking buff. Now imagine this. You put a Life Orb on that thing. It's still incredibly defensive, remember. It's got a huge physical defense. You put a Shell Smash on that thing with a Life Orb, Fire Blast in the sun.
Yeah, if that hits, it's hitting pretty...
The only downside to Torkoal is it's super slow, but if you got a Trick Room user on the team, that's scary.
Yeah. So, anything in NU that stands out to you aside from Weezing?
No, I mean, you mentioned Electivire. Electivire is pretty good, but it's a little on the frail side. You just got to be careful with it. Honestly, NU, like you said, is pretty much the same as it's always been, and that's pretty much it.
And PU's the very same way.
Yeah.
The standouts in PU are few and far between. Caracosta is there if you're looking for a decent
Shell Smash.
Shell Smasher. Ditto's down there if you're looking for a really, really gimmicky Pokemon. Regice and Glaceon are down there if you're looking for Ice type.
The Barrel is actually a Pokemon of note because now it has access to it has access to Swords Dance, and its simple ability got boosted. So
yeah, the Barrel's still down there, so that's still another kind of like
it's gimmicky, but it is worth I mean, you got to remember, PU is again not a very strong tier, so unfortunately, you got to rely on gimmicks. Like even Regigigas has that horrible ability, but as long as you know what you're doing with it, you get out of that ability, and you could wreak all kinds of damage.
Yeah. Then there's of course Relicanth, my boy.
No.
Honestly, underrated. It's slow, but it hits hard. It's physically tanky, and
that
it'll
poor
fuck you
Lugia.
up.
That poor Lugia.
Yeah, when it fucking, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it one-shotted a Lugia. A Relicanth one-shotted a Lugia.
Oh, God.
Just And is Dunsparce down here too? Because that thing outbulked Zygarde. Yeah, it did. It's down here. So those two Pokemon that, like, if you're just saying fuck it, if you already have everything you need for PU, fuck it, take one of them for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I mean, Dunsparce actually also has Serene Grace, which is a devastating ability. Plus, it has access to Coil, so that's set up right there.
Yep. But, yeah, that's pretty much going to do it, I think, for my recommendations on that front. Of course, you know, if you're a member of the league and listening to this, which I highly recommend you do in case you're struggling with some of the lower tiers and whatnot, the draft's going to be exciting. Draft boards are due in Saturday night. We'll be starting Saturday night, and it should be a good time. So with that being said, Dave, it's time to talk about our final topic for the day, which, even though it's considered our big topic, will be short. So on Sunday night, Super Bowl 51, the New England Patriots pursuing their 5th ring, facing Atlanta Falcons, who are looking for their
yes, it was their first in all 50 years that they've been a team.
And
we don't have enough alcohol to talk about this.
No. So let me just give you guys the score, right? At halftime, 21-3 Atlanta.
28-3. 28-3.
No. It was 21-3 at halftime.
I thought it was 28. Maybe the 28 was right after the end of the half.
The 28 wasn't it was in the after the end of the first half. It was 21-3 at halftime. Okay. Final score, 34-28 New England.
One video.
Now the big debate is at the minute, which was the more prominent aspect to the end of this football game? Did the Falcons choke, or are the Patriots just that good?
It's both. It's both.
Well, no one's arguing that it's not both. The question
which was more of a factor.
Which was more of a factor?
One video put it best that I linked you to the other day. Said that the Falcons collapsed so hard that if they were a building, it would be considered a terrorist attack.
Oh my God!
It was honestly, I think it was the biggest choke of this fucking century. Like, they had such a lead that we were sitting pretty goddamn comfy at the end of the first half. Like, there's no way that the Patriots are going to catch up. I saw videos going up on YouTube talking about this. Like, this game is already over. The Patriots lost. There's no way they're going to keep this up. There's no way they're going to catch up. And then Tom Brady's like, hold my beer. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. How the hell this happened? Did somebody watch my fucking Fury Bowl just after halftime and say, you know what? Let's go call the big man upstairs. We're going to have him join the team real quick. Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. It's fucking insane. It's baffling. And goddamn it, I hate Tom Brady and I hate Bill Belichick. I fucking hate them.
And now they are the Booker T's of the NFL.
I hate everything. I hate everyone. And you know what? There's a lot of people arguing too that, oh, well, the guy didn't have the guy's knees were down before the ball hit the end zone and overtime. That doesn't fucking matter. That doesn't matter at all. Because you know why? Because even if they were down, even if that play ended up, getting stopped, then they just would have got the touchdown within a matter of minutes anyway.
Yeah, they
would have gotten it anyway. You would only be delaying the inevitable. So who fucking cares at that point? I mean,
right.
And everybody sucks about this. Of course, Patriots fans suck because they're gloating. You got people saying, oh, Donald Trump was right. Donald Trump was right. Praise Trump.
Which I'm just kind of like, wait, what?
Yeah. Literally, they're like, oh, this just proves how great Donald Trump is because he said the Patriots were going to win. And it's just like, I fucking hate you. And then to make matters worse, because of course you got to throw Trump in here, the fucking douchebags, social justice warriors are like, oh, the Patriots winning means that white supremacy won.
Which, that's interesting to me because there are black guys on that team.
There's a lot of black guys on that team. There's a lot of black guys in football. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah. Do these people ever shut up? No, they don't. No, because they have to ruin everything. If people enjoy it, they got to come in and ruin it. And I'll tell you this.
If it can fit into their narrative, you better believe they're going to try and...
And usually the Super Bowl is filled with people who want to shit on our good time because they feel like they're too enlightened to watch football. But believe it or not, those assholes were actually fairly quiet this time around.
Maybe for you, not for me. I had a few classmates who were just like, oh, who gives a fuck about the Super Bowl? Because, they're Irish and European.
I mean, yeah, depending on where you are. Like, I only had one guy say something, and then I just posted a picture of a locker on his timeline and said, this is your new home now. But, I mean, other than that, not a hell of a lot. So, I don't know. I just hate everybody. I hate everybody so much. I just want to be able to watch football and have a good time. Clearly, I'm not allowed to do that. But...
Well, I mean, that's what you get for supporting the New York.
And that's what I just get for being alive. Let's just be honest. I had the worst luck, but I have terrible luck. If I rooted, the only way that this would have worked out would have been if I somehow managed to play reverse psychology, rooted for the Patriots, and then the Patriots lost. That's the only way this would have worked. But no, my luck is so bad that they would have found out that I was playing reverse psychology, and the Patriots would have won anyway. Because I can't win.
Well, you were in a house. You were in a house full of Patriots fans, were you not?
Well, yes, I was in a house full of people who wanted the Patriots to win. Calling them necessarily Patriots fans might be a little over the top, but they wanted them to win. And I was public enemy number one, and I was acting like such a cunt through the entire first half. Because why would you not be? The fucking Falcons were dominating the first half, and they were embarrassing the shit out of Tom Brady and the Patriots. And then all of a sudden, Matt Ryan was like, you know what? Winning was fun while it lasted. Let's change the game a little bit.
Well, everyone's blaming Matt Ryan specifically, but I blame the play calling more so. So you're up 28-3 or 28-9, whatever. And, the clock is not your enemy, okay? They ran the ball 4 times in the second half. They were snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the play clock.
I don't even know what the hell they were
thinking. What the fuck? That's not how you win football.
They just it was horrible.
This isn't Madden. Was horrible. Like that's the shit you do in Madden. But not the actual fucking real
It was
Super
like
Bowl.
The first half was the Punk Bowl. The second half was the Fury Bowl. It was so goddamn symbolic.
You're not wrong.
I think, didn't they even also miss a goddamn field goal attempt?
Falcons now.
I thought somebody did.
The Patriots missed an extra point.
That's what it was. I was going to say, because I could have swore we had the act of God come down, but maybe not.
No, what happened was in the fourth quarter, the Falcons were in field goal range and decided that instead of, just run the ball to where even if you get third down, you can still kick a field goal, they decided to throw the ball, get sacked, throw the ball again, holding penalty, and then have an incompletion and have to punt.
I don't even know how the hell they could look in the mirror after that.
7 fans showed up to greet them back in Atlanta. 7 fans.
Jesus Christ. I think that Super Bowl might have been one of the most painful Super Bowls to watch in a long time.
Although people are calling it the greatest
ever. People are calling it the greatest ever because of the comeback. And yes, it was a very good comeback. But it also required a very good choking.
Yeah, you can't have one without the other. You can't have a comeback of 25 points without help.
Yeah, the other team basically collapsed, and that's the only reason why the comeback happened. So, would you necessarily...
And now, to make matters worse, I know you're going to love this statistic. Going into the 2017-2018 NFL football season, the odds-on favorites to win the Super Bowl are the New England Patriots.
Of course they are. They're always the favorite. They're almost always the favorite to win the whole thing.
The number 2 pick, the Dallas Cowboys.
Do I have a rope anywhere? Do I have a rope? I think it's time to end it all.
No, man, you gotta help me root for the Cowboys in the Super Bowl after we, win the NFC East again.
Get me a rope. I'm done.
You even said before on the show, during our predictions podcast, if it came down to Patriots and Cowboys.
Yes, but we're in a new season now. We're in a new season. that was after my boys fucking let me down.
They choked harder than Atlanta.
I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. They didn't have that big a lead. No,
Eli just let you down because he can't play football anymore.
Eli let me down because Eli Manning fucking sucks. And oh God.
That's a whole other debate.
I want the Giants.
We're talking about...
I want the Giants to be the Paul Bearers at my funeral so they can let me down one more time. I hate everything.
So, the Super Bowl, if you had to give it a score, unbiased score on the quality of the game itself, just pretend the teams did not have any logos or
numbers on
their jerseys. Out of 10.
Okay. I would say...
From a pure football perspective.
For me... I'm not talking...
Watch out. Don't get Patriots or you're hating for Patriots.
No, I'm not. Here. I'm going to say about a 7. And I say that because while the comeback was great, and it was, like, as much as I don't like the Patriots, I can't deny that they're a good team, and they are. And Tom Brady is, honestly, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. Can't be denied. Obviously, the Patriots put in a hell of a lot of good work to get that comeback in. But again, it required a complete fuck-up from the other team in order for that to happen. And to me, that's not necessarily good football. It would have been one thing if it was competitive from start to finish. But it wasn't. It was one team kicked major ass in the first half, the other team kicked all kinds of ass in the second half. And that's exciting to see the catch-up, but it's not exciting if you're looking for actual competition. Is that a fair enough point?
Okay. That's fair enough point, although I do believe your score's a bit low. I'm going to go 8.5.
Okay.
Just because, first overtime of Super Bowl history. For a game to reach that point's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, again, it has everything to do with the catch-up, but it also is a matter of your tastes. Like, I honestly, again, would rather have seen it be completely, gridlocked from start to finish if you want it to be super competitive. But that's just my particular taste coming through.
And I just like shootouts. So this ended up being a shootout at the end. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Superplex Bros podcast. Thanks for listening, guys. The live version anyway. If you're listening on SoundCloud, of course, thanks as always for listening as well. But, of course, make sure you join the live stream. Now, this episode was kind of came together at the last minute. We weren't sure what day we were going to do it, and then just kind of suddenly launched it. But we do try and give some notice as to when we're going to go live, so this kind of thing doesn't always happen. So, yeah, just make sure you follow us on social media for the latest updates on that front. Particularly, Facebook will be your best place. On Twitter, we don't really use Twitter that much anymore because of our past.
And not only that, but Twitter kind of sucks.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, on behalf of Dave and myself, thanks for listening. We will see you next week.